Welcome to another edition of First Bite, our Detroit Lions midweek preview podcast. It is Thanksgiving Day week, which means time for the Lions Thanksgiving Day Classic. This week, the Green Bay Packers. Second matchup between the two teams coming up. But before we get into that, my name is Jeremy Reisman. I'm the producer over at Pride of Detroit. You can always find me at Detroit Online on Twitter. With me, as always, co-hosting this ship. Not steering it this week, you're just co-hosting it this week. The senior editor of Pride of Detroit, at Ryan_POD on Twitter. Ryan Matthews is here. Ryan, early Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy early Thanksgiving to you, too. I'm just glad I'm on a boat. It's November, and I'm on a boat. As somebody from Michigan, that's, like, pretty exciting stuff. So, right. But it feels like we're in good waters, Jeremy.
Ooh.
8-2 waters. They're warm.
I'm not going to continue to carry on this boat metaphor. but I appreciate your efforts there.
You know who we should bring in the boat with us?
Aboard?
Yes, matey.
He is, of course, the writer for Cheesehead TV. He is part of the Pack-A-Day podcast. He was with us back in week 4. Dusty Evely is back. Dusty, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, thanks. I feel like I'm being pushed down below the water with an oar. Am I continuing this? Is that all right? I mean,
maybe off a plank or swapping the poop deck or something.
Yeah, so Packers fan experience.
Yeah, just slowly, just trying to get the water out of my boat with the tiniest bucket and shovel you've ever seen in your life. That's me.
I think all those people are already on board, Dusty. It's all the people from, the Gold Club members that sold their tickets to Lions fans. They're already swapping the poop deck.
Yeah. We will never see those people again, is my understanding.
Well, speaking of a sinking ship, the Packers offense. How about that? Was that a good trend?
That was bad.
I'm sorry.
That was good. Honestly, that was good.
All right.
You know what? I'll give that to you.
But no, as always, we like to kind of split this podcast in two. We'll talk about the Packers offense versus Lions defense first. Second segment will be Lions offense versus Packers defense and some predictions. But yeah, let's start with the Packers offense. We'll get to all the injuries, which is obviously going to affect both sides of the ball here. But I think when we talk about the Packers offense, we have to talk about Jordan Love. When we last talked, we were just kind of getting a feel of what Jordan Love might do. He had a pretty hot start to the season, cooled off a little bit, really starting with the Lions game. So I don't know if you feel like you've had a good enough sample size to give a fair assessment of Jordan Love, but what are your thoughts here as we enter week 12 or whatever it is?
I feel good about him. Honestly, it's been a little tough. I think, and we'll get to it in a second. There are very specific things that I think he's still not good at that I don't know if he will get better at. But the way the offense had been early in the season, it was all rookies and second-year guys. The receiving, I think it was the youngest offense, at least the youngest receiving core since the 0-16 Browns, if I'm not mistaken. And that showed early. It was a whole bunch of guys running wrong routes. It was not a game did not go by where at least twice guys were not in the exact same spot on the exact same route. And Love's looking to that usually as the first read, and two guys are there. And so it was kind of this, how do you get a read on him if nothing else is going right? The offensive line was pretty bad. And I think the team as a whole was trying to get their feet under them. They were playing as many young guys as possible. They had Yosh Nijman at left tackle, who had been playing with them for a while and played some games a few years back and was pretty good. Didn't see the field at all first half of the season. It was Rasheed Walker at left tackle, who was bad. And I say that because it feels like they were like, okay, we got these young guys. We're going to have them out there at some point in the middle of the season. They're like, okay, we just need guys who can like function. The offense needs to function. So Nijman's out there. You're starting giving less playing time to Toure and more to someone like Jaden Reed or Dontavian Wicks, guys who have shown some flashes over the past couple of weeks. It feels like they're starting to gel. They're getting a little better. There's been much more cohesion in the offense. So I think we're getting a better read on Love now than we had earlier. I think his processing, decision-making is very good. I think his moving in the pocket is good. Some issues he had early in the year where he didn't really know when to take a loss on a play. It was always, I can make every play. He's learning when to throw the ball away a little bit more. He's learning when to bail, when to use his legs. He's been using his legs more as he gets outside the pocket. So I don't know. I'm not ready to say whether he's the long-term guy yet. He's not shown enough to say like, this should be the guy going forward. And they're not going to end up in the top 3 picking anyway. So they're not getting Caleb May or Drake May. So I don't know that Caleb Williams or Drake May. So I don't know that it matters, but I do think he has shown enough where it's like, he's got a solid base there. And I do think he has room to grow, even if I don't know that he's going to end up being the guy. I think he can be, it seems like a solid quarterback if things are going well around him. And right now, as everything's gelling, he looks way more comfortable. It's looking way better for him lately.
Dusty, I'm not trying to make the quarterback position into something that's very reductive as, one game could sway your opinion, but like what are some things that you'd want to see Jordan Love doing on Thursday against the Lions that would start to persuade you into I could see making this guy like the long-term solution at quarterback.
Yeah, he's got to start hitting deep balls. He's got like his. That's one of the things. It was kind of going back to college a little bit, but certainly this preseason, there's a big thing about like his coaching staff wanted him to put more air under the ball on deep balls, and all we've seen on that so far is every single deep ball is woefully underthrown. He's got the arm for it. We know he can do it, but every deep ball he had one this past week to Dobbs. That's just like Dobbs got his guy beat on this little hitch and go. He's got him by 5 yards. The ball's underthrown by 10 yards, and Dobbs guys will come back for it, can't come down with it. So that's one of the things for me is, and we've seen glimpses of this where when he just is able to kind of rip it, put the ball a little more on a line, those deep balls, the accuracy is better. There's something in his head, I think that's been hammered into him that is put more air into the ball, let your guy go and get it. And so he's been out of sync. Dobbs was there. I think not all of Watson's struggles in terms of like the numbers games are put on that as well. Like he's just that deep ball. I think I think accuracy is always going to be somewhat of an issue, but I think his decision making and then his accuracy in the short to intermediate has been way better since everyone's been on the same page over the past like 3 or 4 games. He's been really good operating the offense, like between 0 to 15, even to 20 yards. Some of those middle of the field stuff he's been really good at. Anything that he's bombing for, and I think he's got, it was some weird stat. It's like the most 30 plus yard completions in the league, but not the most 20 plus and not the most 40 plus. It's like this weird range between like 30 to 39 yards that Love's just absolutely killing as far as air yards even. But it's that deep ball. Like it needs to be more consistent. There's been way too many. The Packers could have 2 to 3 more wins on the year if he has hit 4 deep shots. Like it's a low bar to clear. He's gonna have to hit all of them. He's at a handful of them, and that deep ball's just been real bad. So if he starts getting that where he's hitting that, I think I start feeling way, way better about him. I'm not sure if that's going to come, but for me, that's what I would need to see. That's like the next big step here.
Well, I want to stay on the deep ball here for a second because Dan Campbell kind of started his week press conference with like, that's what we got to focus on with the Packers. Big plays, those deep shots. It's what their offense is kind of centered around. First of all, is that how you view it too? Because I mean, I'm looking at the Packers. They're third in intended air yards per attempt. You just mentioned all the deep shots that they are throwing. Is that kind of how the offense is going right now? Is like, however goes the deep ball in this game, so goes the Packers offense.
More or less. I mean, they've been hitting more than intermediate stuff, but at times it almost feels like, I joked about it before the season, like it's going to be Bradshaw numbers. It's going to be 1970s Bradshaw numbers. Everything's a check down or just bombs away, and it's not quite to that extent. But that's kind of what they're doing. They're working in the RPO game a little bit more. So you're getting more of like that 0 to 2 yard down the field, like that area is getting peppered a little bit more. Defenses have been very like, because they want to attack the middle of the field early in the season. They had all these concepts. Aaron Rodgers isn't here anymore, boys. Let's go. We're hitting middle of the field, and then defenses just started spot dropping linebackers into there between like 7 to 13 yards, and they can't hit the stuff they want to hit. So they're just bombing stuff to the outside. They're hitting a lot of outbreakers, a lot of stuff down the field. Like a lot of the crossers he's been good at. And so when they can get kind of those single high looks and they can hit those deep crossers, that's what they want to do. The problem is there's way too many go balls, and they're just chucking these go balls, and neither Dobbs or Watson can hold position. And so they're getting bodied to the sideline before the ball's even out, and you've got no spot to put it. But if they can get, I mean, they got speed, they got guys who can create separation down there, but I mean, that's basically what they want to do. Yeah. It's short game and they just want to bomb it. And the bombing just has been, if we want to say inconsistent, is being kind to them, but that's the way they want to live. They just haven't been able to do it so far.
Yeah. And I know you said that, you want to see that from Jordan Love. How much of that has to do with like, a Christian Watson disappearance, like his, face on the side of milk cartons, like, it seems like a total role reversal, right? Like you have guys like you mentioned earlier, in Wicks and even in Jaden Reed, but like Christian Watson kind of seems like an afterthought.
That's some of it. The way they've been using Watson, it's weird because when he had his breakout last year in the middle of last year, it was one of those kind of deep crossers. It was they were using him across the field. You think of like the big touchdown against Philly, where that really got him kickstarted, was on like that strike concept, that like whatever 12-yard dig. Then he just outran everyone. He had the 3 touchdown game against the Cowboys. At least 2 of them were on like 20-yard crossing routes. This year it's a lot of go routes. And I mean, I will say Watson's numbers have not been there. It was not this past game, it was 2 games ago. Watson was wide open, like ate his man for lunch, had 5 yards on the dude in the end zone. Love underthrew him. Watson can't come back. Now, some of this stuff is on Watson because they are kind of putting him in a position, which is something he's not good at, that is kind of these 50-50 jump balls. You're a big freak. We're going to throw the ball to you. He's not good at those. So he had an interception. I think it was against the Vikings. I can't remember what game this was. There's an interception in the red zone that was kind of a throw it up, and it wasn't the best throw from Jordan Love, but it was a spot that Love or that Watson could get it. He got bullied by a guy who was like 5 inches shorter than he was, and ends up giving up the interception. So some of it's on Watson, but there have been multiple times where Watson has been open, especially on those go balls, and Love's just missed him. It was again this past week. They had a little sluggo from Watson. Watson just absolutely burned the dude. Love lollipops at that sucker over the top and misses him by 10 yards. This was an overthrow. He overthrew Watson on that one. So I've joked about they need to do, and I think I heard this. I think it was like a McNabb Deshaun Jackson thing. They would just have a drill where it was like, I'm taking a 7-step drop. I'm just throwing this as far as I can, and then I'm going to see if I can overthrow you. And Deshaun Jackson just tried to go get it. Like, I think they need to do that. Because there's something wrong with the timing there. Watson could be better, but the deep ball, like, numbers would look a lot better for Watson if Love's hit a handful of these deep balls so far.
Well, the two receivers that do seem to be kind of surging up are Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed, but Dontavian Wicks in concussion protocol, hasn't practiced at all this week, almost certainly is out. So tell me more about Jaden Reed, who's also dealing with an injury himself, was added to the report on Tuesday. But it sounds like he's going to play. So tell us more about Jaden Reed and why he's kind of been this, I don't know if you would say Love's favorite option, but certainly one of his preferred options lately.
Yeah, I think it's between him and Musgrave, so only healthy, his favorite healthy option at this point, I think.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's been dynamite. He's a guy who had some opportunities early. I know the big comeback against the Saints in week 3. He had one of the big catches in that game. There was a slot fade, like a diving full body layout slot fade, and he's been getting more opportunities. That's a guy who I think was sitting behind Samori Toure a bit early. And then as they kind of were like, okay, who do we have? Who's making plays? They started phasing Torrey out, and then Reed was getting those snaps. We saw in the past 2 weeks, he scored a touchdown this past week on an end around. He had another end around, really great at creating separation. They're using him as kind of, it's almost this, not necessarily, he's not Debo Samuels. He cannot block like that, but he is like a Debo type role. They're putting him, Jones got injured this past week. Their answer was they put Reed in the backfield a little bit. They're using him as kind of a mismatch guy, the gadgety guy. He was a punt returner in college. We've not seen him there really that much, but he's got a short area quickness. He's got enough speed downfield. I think if I'm not mistaken, his 40 time at the combine was like 4.6 or something, but they said he was injured in his pro day. I think they had him at like a 4.37, something like that. He can, and it looks like it, like on the field, dude can fly, short area quickness. They've been looking, especially the past 2 weeks, to get the ball in his hands. And yeah, I mean, they seem like they really love him. They had 2 end arounds this past week. They had one that was a nice little like fake end around spinner play, and then you hand back inside to Aaron Jones on the handoff. And because of what Reed had done, defense is kind of fanning out. Again, it's Chargers defense, so whatever. But they fanned out. They fooled the Chargers defense. Big whoop. But so they're using him, and defense are starting to pay attention. So yeah, I love. Jaden Reed was a dude who, when they drafted him, he was like not on a lot of the Packers guys' draft boards because he just barely beneath thresholds. Like his height, weight was barely below. But he's been dynamite, especially the past 2 weeks. It certainly seems like they're leaning on him. I don't know that he's dropped anything. Like it seems like he catches everything. Great quickness, really good instincts, and a really good feel for like finding space. Big fan of that dude.
I'm gonna let the shot at Brandon Staley slide.
I don't want to take too many shots at him because when he gets fired, I want him to come to Green Bay. So come on in, buddy.
Oh, we'll get to Joe Barry. Don't you worry.
Oh man,
please do. Oh, please do. I am begging you.
two steps ahead, man. So Jeremy had mentioned it, and then you followed up, Dusty, talking about Luke Musgrave. How big of a loss is Luke Musgrave to this offense?
Yeah, Musgrave's big. Musgrave's big in part because of who they have behind him. I mean, they went with we talked about a young team. Like this is a young tight end room. It was DeGuara, who before the season they moved him to fullback. They said, well, he's not a tight end anymore. He's always been kind of a hybrid dude. And then they didn't really add a whole lot of people outside of rookies. So like, okay, you're a tight end again. Just so they could say they had 4 tight ends in the room. So it's Musgrave, Kraft, a rookie out of South Dakota State, who high hopes for him. and he looked like he was swimming early. Like they could barely play him early. I think they wanted to play him early this season and they couldn't. So DeGuara kind of took his snaps, and then Austin Allen, I think, is the fourth. But Musgrave they've asked him to do more tight end stuff. Like my thought when he came in was, you're putting him big slot, right? Like he's going to be Jimmy Graham. Don't ask him to block. They've been asking him to do like legit tight end stuff, which is not even in his MO in college. And he's been really good at it. Like not amazing or anything, but a lot of the split flow stuff they've been having him in line. A lot of their misdirect stuff have been come out of two tight end sets with him as the inside guy. He's been really good at kind of getting the block and shedding when he needs to, selling the stuff since the timing's been good. Hands have been good, I guess. I'd say he maybe dropped one. But yeah, I mean, they use him. That's another one where I think his numbers, he was on pace to break some Packers rookie receiving records, like Sterling Sharp records, if not for this injury. And he would be shattering those now if some of those balls were a little more catchable. He had this one this past week that could have gone for 40 yards if the ball was like 2 yards closer to him. Like it was a beautiful play that he sold well. That's a big hit. They've been using him exactly like you think on the receiving stuff, a lot of seam stretcher stuff. That he's been really, really good at mismatch for linebackers, and a really good feel in zone stuff too. Knows when to was getting better about like sitting down in zone, running away from man. Like he's been a big get for them and a huge part of that offense. Like that's a big loss. I assume Tucker Kraft probably steps up a little bit more. He's been coming on. He's been looking better. He was always kind of more of the blocking guy. He can receive. He can be a playmaker. He was South Dakota State. But I think of all the, I mean, that's the thing. If it's like Dontavian Wicks is out, that sucks. They've been kind of giving him more snaps, and I really like what I've seen out of him. But that they could be all right without him. Without Musgrave, they've been building stuff in their offense for Musgrave like since game one, and he's been doing really well for them. So that's a big loss for them.
I want to move to the offensive line and some run game stuff. Start with pass protection, though, because last time that was a big issue for the Packers against the Lions, 5 sacks for Detroit, and it seemed like Jordan Love was kind of on the run. You talked about it a little bit at the top, but how has the Packers offensive line maybe settled down a little bit since then?
It's been better. They still have their moments. I know like Josh Myers has been taking a ton of heat. I think he's been better. John Runyon Jr. has been rough and pass pro, which was like his calling card the past couple of years. Right. He's not been very good. Jenkins has been a little up and down. And he was that's the thing. When they played the Lions earlier, those guys, they were either missing a couple pieces or everyone on that line was like just seconds away from not playing. I think Runyon was in a boot at that point in the leading up to the game. So they're a little healthier now. Tom's been a rock at right tackle, and he was out there in that first Lions game, but he hadn't seen much action. I know he was kind of a little iffy. He can move a little in the run game, but definitely more in the pass game. Like Tom's been good. Runyon's been iffy. I think Myers has been better. Jenkins a little iffy. And then left tackle, I mentioned Nyman earlier. They've been kind of rotating Nyman and Rasheed Walker, who was their 7th round rookie 2 years ago, which has been really interesting. And both of them are better against the pass and the run. So I will say, at the risk of cursing this team, the pass protection has been much better than it was against the Lions earlier. I don't anticipate Love to be running for his life as much as he was then. Not to say that they won't get pressure, because there are ways you can get after them. I think I might be wrong on this. I think Royce Newman might have been playing the last time. And I think I had talked about with you guys, like all you got to do is run a stunt across Royce Newman's face. Right. And it looks like he's never seen it before in his life. He's not in anymore. And so you can run games on him, but they're picking that stuff up way better. And even like AJ Dillon has been very, very good in pass pro and that stuff as well. And it looks like, I mean, he's going to be the starter with Jones out. So it should be in a better spot than it was. I still don't feel great about it, but they should be in a better spot than they were the last time we saw them.
Yeah, and Dusty, for the rushing attack, when you look at it, a year ago, 4th in DVOA, 25th in DVOA this year. Is it as simple as saying Aaron Jones has been injured and that really hinders, their versatility between him and Dillon? Is it the offensive line? Is it a bunch of that stuff?
It's both. It was Jones, one of my favorite stats, least favorite stats this year. I can't remember how many rushing yards the Packers had against the Bears in week 1. It was quite a few. They had 1 yard before contact. They just early in the season, up until 3 weeks ago, they were at best fighting for their lives on the offensive line and hoping that someone could find a gap. And aside from that too, then Jones was out. AJ Dillon was not running well. Jones has lost a step or two for sure, but he's still very slippery. There's stuff you can run with him that you can't run without him. And then but really the offensive line was not driving anyone downfield. The past 3 weeks we've seen they've gotten better. They're mixing up. The run game's gotten more varied as a result, more pullers. They're pushing guys downfield. This past week I was looking, again, Chargers, but really the past 2 weeks, you look and guys getting a handoff and you've got offensive linemen 1 to 2 yards downfield, creating holes, pushing downfield. And we just didn't see that against anyone. Like even like they went up against like the Raiders and Broncos and couldn't move a soul on the defensive line earlier this year. So they're doing better in the run game. I think with Dylan's running more decisively and with them opening up those holes, I think they're better. They just, they had Emmanuel Wilson, who was like the training camp preseason darling. He injured his shoulder. I don't know how on like his second carry. So I don't know if he's playing. So the Packers just signed Patrick Taylor, who's been a practice squad dude for them for like the past 3 years. They released him and tried to sign him back. And he was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like 3 weeks ago, got dropped by whoever was on him. And so they called him like, it sounds like maybe in game or within minutes of the game ending this past week, they called Patrick Taylor, like, come on up, buddy. And he's been fine. So we'll probably see a healthy dose of Dylan and Taylor, I would imagine. But yeah, the line's better. I still don't think great, but they're creating movement. It's a low bar to clear. They're creating movement up front when they couldn't even do that early in the year.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Obviously, the previous matchup, Packers never really had a chance to get the run game going. They fell behind quickly. They only finished with 12 rushes for 27 yards. But if the game is a little bit closer, might be a little bit different. But obviously, the Lions' run defense has been pretty solid all season. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to switch things up. We'll talk about the Lions' offense going up against that Packers defense and all sorts of Joe Barry talk, which I'm sure Lions fans are excited about. And I know Dusty is excited about. So we'll get into that when we come back here on First Bite. We'll be right back. Sorry, chat. I see that the stream temporarily went off on Twitch again. I forgot.
Put that on the bingo sheet, man. Put it on the bingo sheet.
I keep forgetting to re-download Streamlabs, delete it, uninstall it, and then reinstall it. But I will try to get that fixed by the next time I go live on my computer, which I don't even know what that's going to be. So, anyways,
yeah.
Apology.
They're back. It seems like it was only out for a couple seconds. So sorry. Anyways, let me quickly go. You got something?
I was going to say, before you cruise through notifications,
yeah.
If anybody wants to spend mutes, this was something else that was fixed. If you want to mute me, I do have the binky. So.
Oh, I forgot. Okay. Yeah.
It's November, Dusty, and so we're
mustaches. Nope, that makes a lot of sense now.
We're about to do some silly stuff because we also did get some donations during that break time that I will have to get into here in a second.
Do you have to shave your head or anything, Jeremy?
If we get to 50K,
where are you at right now?
We're at 15K.
Okay,
but we still have our marathon stream, which typically is responsible for almost like half of our donations every year. So there's definitely a good amount of people waiting for that.
And I definitely said that if we get within 1,000, I'm donating $1,000 so that Jeremy has to shave his head.
Don't do that.
I was gonna say like how much it was. I was gonna try to push it up over the edge, but no, I'm not.
No. Oh,
I love you guys.
I mean, if you got 35K laying around, we'd love it.
Yeah.
Let me check.
How good's the podcast been doing? Just pull from that. All that podcast money.
So guys, I gotta expense something here. How much money we got?
Okay. Let me get through the Twitch alerts really quick. Chuck Ladesh, thank you for the 15 months. Subscribe to the channel. Flint Town and Down, 44 months. Subscribe to the channel. Says 44 months. Do the kids call that a CD double deuce? Sure. Why not?
All right.
The Trevor Van, 25 months. Subscribe to the channel. Says the Lions gave the Bears enough of positives from Fields to keep him around for years to come. His Matt Flynn game. They're playing the long game. Smart. Charizard Boner, $25 donated to the Alzheimer's Association. Says package shows delivered to P.O. Box. I'm checking the P.O. Box tomorrow, so thank you for that. Lost Oceans, $25 as well, all donated to the Alzheimer's Association. I'm going to check in on what you guys want us to write on our faces because I see there's stuff there. Be True, $45.40 donated. Says owed from tweet on Colby's PFF grade. Still have faith in the young rookie though. Yeah. It was,
I remember that. Yeah.
Not the greatest PFF grade. I think we were all hoping for something a little bit bigger than that, but appreciate you being sticking to your word there. And yeah, I think Colby will continue to grow. I think that is something to keep an eye on in this game that maybe we'll get into a little bit here. By the way, in the middle of that segment, Bridget Case rated us with a party of 34. If you're still around, Bridget, I did see that you caught us right in the middle of Brandon Staley talk, which was perfect because she's a Chargers fan. So if you are still around, my apologies, or you're welcome for that segment. I don't know which one you fall on, but and thank you for the raid. Really do appreciate you. If anyone from Bridget's stream is still hanging around, we are a Detroit Lions Twitch and YouTube page where we talk Detroit Lions all the time. We do several podcasts a week. Live. We do Madden Sims on Saturday mornings, although it'll be tomorrow night since it's a Thursday game. And then on December 5th, we are doing a full day stream where we are just having guests, talking all sorts of stuff. I'm sure we will talk things other than Lions football because it's literally going to be from 8 a.m. to midnight. And I don't even know if I can handle 16 hours of straight Lions talk. But it'll be a good time.
I think you could. I think you can. I'm going to see. I'm planning on being there too, so
that's right. And also, if anyone has any interest in it, Sunday morning this week.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. We're gonna watch the Bye Bye Barry documentary live here on our Twitch page because it is an Amazon Prime video. We can stream it live on Twitch, and so if you can hold off until Sunday to watch it. I know it dropped today, I think.
Or if you just want to watch it again,
or if you just
hang out,
see my live reaction because I'm both too busy and have a little bit of self-control.
Dude, okay, yeah, both those things. Also, self-control really tested when I saw that Justin Rogers article that dropped about Scott Mitchell
losing
taking to
shit.
Facebook. Yeah, I don't want to read any of the comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be tainted before I go into watching it. So I'm like trying to do like a hard.
It's tough,
right?
That. It's tough because there's already been like 2 news drops about the documentary, and I feel like I need to be on it, but at the same time,
don't want it to be spoiled.
I don't want it to be spoiled.
A documentary to be spoiled.
Well, like you heard about the quarterback that wanted to play with Barry, right? You've heard that story already leak.
God, yeah. You know why? Stupid Pat McAfee link.
Right? Yeah.
Dumb.
Block him. Just block him.
What time Sunday? I don't have a locked down time yet. It's probably going to be something like 10 a.m. because I want to obviously watch football. So we need to be done with that. And it's what, 90 minutes? 2 hours? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Also, because Sunday, I need to deliver something to Jeremy. These that will be up for raffle.
Oh.
Which are autographed Malik Willis cards.
Right, and we'll do an exchange because remember, this is for you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sam Laporta's drawing of the lion.
I've been keeping it safe right in front of me. Spoiler: Barry retired. Oh, great! Someone needs to ban Flint Town and Down. He spoiled the movie. Barry retires at the end.
Boo.
They're going to come out with a Marvel sequel where the Packers don't draft Mandrich and they take Barry Sanders instead.
Man, all right, I can't make it for the second half. Let's see you guys later.
You guys had a fine 90s and 2000s, all right? I think you guys
and 2010s
and 2010s.
I think that's the sliding doors thing. I think was that like if they get Barry, there's a good chance they don't go after Favre. So that's that kind of if they probably do not have the same success, I would imagine.
Right.
But Barry Sanders being like one of my all-time favorite players, I would have taken that trade probably.
Yeah. And also, I'm really glad that happened because in this alternate universe, Brett Favre ends up on the Lions, and Brett Favre does all the stuff that he does, and then you hate Brett Favre.
He's still on the Lions, though. You think he still wins the Super Bowl? He's still on the Lions, Ryan.
I don't like this conversation. I don't like this conversation
I was
at all.
trying to gauge if Ryan was actually mad.
I was just more despondent than anything. I was just like slowly willowing. Like for as good as 8-2 feels right now, like there's still moments where I'm thinking like it was the other day. like I told you, Jeremy, like the Chargers game, I'm literally holding Teddy in front of the screen while Riley Patterson is kicking the field goal, and I'm whispering in his ear like, "You will never know pain and suffering like I knew. You will only know a life of privilege as a Lions fan. Like years of torment, you'll never know."
Listen, man, you got that. We got Riley Green, the Riley Green superstardom coming up.
Yeah,
Detroit sports on the come up, right? Except for the Red Wings. We're not talking about the Wings right now, but
yeah, let's not talk about the Pistons either.
I'm very excited about the Tigers coming up.
Dusty, yeah, you're a Tigers fan, right?
Tigers. I say Tigers, Pistons, and Wings. I really only follow the Tigers out of those too much anymore. But yeah, I'm big Tigers fan now.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, because I remember the first time I found that out because I only knew you as Dusty the Packers fan, and you're tweeting about the Tigers, and I was like, "What's this guy doing? Like, is he just like at Comerica Park visiting? Like, what is he doing?"
It's been a couple years. We used to try to go up every year for a game. I don't think we've been for a couple years, but yeah, man.
Oh, okay, cool.
This past year for the first time, I was like, "Hey, this team's actually fun to watch. Like, even if they don't win, this team's actually fun to watch. That's awesome."
Yeah.
Let me get through the rest of these alerts real quick. Jay Hurd, thank you for the 6 months subscribed on Twitch. Says, can't wait to see the team get one step closer to that division title with the Turkey Day dub over the Cheeseheads. Little FTP in there. Tara DC, 11 months subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much, Tara. And Nick the Greek, 100 bits. Okay, sure. Says, Brett Favre tips his limo drivers with Mississippi food stamps. That was not bad.
I don't have a reason to believe that's fake.
Oh man, what a sucky human, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Sure could sling that football though.
It's pure bigotry and hatred that was driving that arm.
Ryan, do you have a Sharpie nearby?
I don't think so. Let me go check.
Okay.
I think it might be in the bathroom.
I have to write DC boys. The other one is I'm Ron Burgundy with a question mark.
With a question mark? That's a lot of writing. Okay, hold on.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do this.
I think the first time I was on one of these, you guys did not let me know what was happening at all. Like, okay, Ryan, now you got to make your face look like a cat. What is happening? Why are you doing this?
I love that we didn't tell you that. And I also didn't warn you of it this time either. But
but it made a little more sense this time.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
There it is.
Not bad. Really.
You know, I've gotten very good at writing backwards on my head.
You've done this before.
I sure have. We've made a grave error this year, Dusty, because a $100 donation can be redeemed for cracking an egg on our head.
Oof.
And when you're raising tens of thousands of dollars,
like every $100 donation?
Well, it has to be a one shot donation from
okay.
somebody.
Okay.
But when you're raising tens of thousands of dollars,
you
divide that by 100, and it turns out it's a lot of eggs.
You do that you don't do that on top of your head with all your hair, do you? You do that like forehead?
I've been doing forehead lately because it looks better too because you can see the yolk breaking down. But I started on top of the head, and that was less fun.
I was gonna say, I'm just looking. Your hair it's so you got a lot going on up there.
I know, which is why I don't want to shave it, Dusty. People thought I was crazy because, in terms of the things that we can get, $45,000 is me getting a tattoo. I've never had a tattoo in my life. $50,000 is shaving my hair, and people are like, "You'd rather get a tattoo than shave your hair?" And I'm like, "Do you see this? I don't know. I'm 38. I don't know if it's coming back."
My oldest brother, his daughter years ago, she's fine now. I can tell the story. She's fine. She had leukemia when she was like 4, and so lost all of her hair, and so he wanted to shave his head out of solidarity. He's like, I want to, so she knows. His wife stopped the razor at his head, and she was like, "You're like 43. You don't know how this is. You don't know if it comes back. You don't know how it's gonna come back. I beg of you, do not do this." So he ended up not doing it. He ended up listening to his wife and not doing it. But
so we'll never know.
As a man who doesn't have any hair, I'd shave my head to zero issue for me. That's fine. But yeah, if I'm you, I wouldn't even put that on the table, Jeremy. I wouldn't make that an option.
I don't know why it is on the table. When I put that out there, I'm like, listen, I'm 38. I don't want to lose my hair permanently. Some people are like, I know someone who did that and it never came back. And then I had like 3 other people like, that's not how it works, Jeremy. Okay.
Yeah, no, it'll come back. It'll be perfectly fine. It'll just take a while to come back. But
I mean, I cut it relatively short when I cut it.
If you were losing your hair, it wouldn't look like it currently looks.
Yeah, I think you're right. The problem is the grays. Like I'm getting pretty gray on the sides.
I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that's.
I'm sorry. I forgot who I was talking to.
my younger brother. I said something. He's like, you are a literal graybeard. Like you just that's what you are now. You're a literal graybeard. Everything about you is antiquated. Like, okay, appreciate that vote of confidence.
And also to be clear to our live audience, I literally am out of eggs in my fridge, so I can't do any tonight. If you're thinking about it. And I'm
just for DC boys on my head. I don't have any eggs. I can't do
it. Listen. I'm gonna throw this out here, Dusty, and it's gonna feel like I'm putting you on the spot. And please don't take it that way.
Oh man!
But we did have the Chargers guest that we had did crack an egg on his head for a donation. Just throwing it out there. If you don't have to. You
got to do it on camera. Like I'm in my office. Like when I get egg all over the place. How do you do this where you don't like get egg all over the place?
I lay down a towel. That's it.
You personally will come to my house?
No, I will not do that for you.
Okay. You know what? If you get $100 donation, let me know. Just let me know. I mean, I'm going to think about this.
You could offer up something else too. Or you don't have to do anything, to be clear. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're just stacking me against prior guests. I see that. Well, the Chargers guy.
Shout out Kyle D. I was going to try to make a run at his last name, and I've already forgotten how. It's like 15 letters long, Dusty.
Dominican Tanyo.
D. I think it's D. Dominican
Tanyo. D. Dominican Tanyo.
Look at you guys. You made a run at it. You did it after all. I'm so proud of you guys. It looks great. It looks really good. Ryan.
Thank you. When you said Chargers guy, when I put my headphones on, I was like, oh, Arif Hassan, Chargers guy?
Seahawks guy.
He's both
many hats.
He's jokingly, is he a Chargers guy too?
He's helped out for the Chargers SB Nation blog lately.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, because one of their guys is on paternal leave. So he did the little 5 questions post for us last week, a couple weeks ago. Which was a pleasure because
last I knew he was doing a Substack. I didn't know he was back doing other stuff. That's good for him.
Yeah, he's trying to find work wherever he can, I'm sure.
Oh, I believe it.
Which I don't. He shouldn't have any problems because he's the freaking best.
He's very good. Yeah, he's awesome.
Anyways, Brad Holmes's bulge on Twitch keeps saying $100 right now if Dusty agrees to it.
Man,
I don't know how much I can trust someone named Brad Holmes's bulge, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he's done it before already.
If you can't trust him, who can you trust? If you can't trust Brad Holmes's bulge, I don't know what society are we in then?
Yeah, Brad Holmes's bulge brought us things like Jahmyr Gibbs.
Are you that excited about Jack Campbell? It also brought you Jack Campbell. What are your thoughts there?
No comment.
Less bulgy.
So next segment. So it's the one draft pick, at least in this round, where people are like,
linebackers always take a while. I've not watched see if you can show everything, but they can take a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of akin almost to like tight end on offense. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
without a doubt.
There's just like a big learning curve to it at the NFL. Like you can have all the athleticism in the world, and I do think some of Jack Campbell's athleticism is a little bit overblown, especially like after seeing him for like half a season. It's like, oh,
I heard he's sneaky fast. First guy in, last guy out, lunch pail type of guy. Is that right?
Hardest worker,
coach's son. I know for the Packers, I know Quay, who was like a much more like athletic dude. It started clicking for him at the end of year one, right before he started shoving around medical professionals against the Lions, I believe. But
by the way, Lions fans absolutely love Quay Walker.
He's been much better. Listen, you won't know this because you're not reading stories about Quay Walker. That dude spent a ton of time in the offseason doing like meditation, like trying to become better, getting his anger under control. That's cool. Very good this year. He's been much better. He's been injured a little bit, but he's been keeping that under control. By all accounts, like has made a huge difference. Good kid. He should not have shoved two people in the same year. I think that is bad. But he's been great this year on that front. Big fan of Quay, but that started clicking for him end of year one, where it's like he was clearly swimming. And then by the end of year one, he seems like he kind of knows what he's supposed to do now. So maybe the same for Jack Campbell,
goals, right?
Except correct. Someone didn't tell you not to do that? Why didn't someone tell you not to do that?
That happened this year, right? Like the weirdest thing where like not only did the Thursday Night Football broadcast go to break, but in the stadium no one had mentioned a penalty on that field goal until like 5 minutes after it happened.
Yeah, that was wild. Like came back from break and it was like Lions are first down. I'm like, what?
Right.
Well, and see, listen, I talked about Versace earlier. They're paying that man an ungodly amount of money. Like you cannot have like you can't have a penalty like that special teams if it's the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league. Like fire him right then and there. I'm done. What are you doing at this point?
Yeah. We got $100 donation from Woodchuck Hunter, who just writes Egg Dusty.
I gotta see if I got eggs. Let me think about this. I gotta see if I got eggs.
We'll wait. Let's wait until the end because no one wants to sit with egg on their face through an entire segment of a podcast.
Very correct. Very true.
Again, no pressure. Ryan will take it if you don't.
Okay. No, I'm good. Yeah, I want to do it.
I don't. I literally don't have eggs, but I will by Sunday.
I would definitely take an egg over the face than eating a spoonful of garlic.
Oh God, I can't believe you did that. Still, that was gross.
All
right,
not good.
Let's get back to it. Let's get back into the podcast section of the show, and then we'll take care of shenanigans at the end. We are just about $500 away from a spin on the Wheel of Pain too. So if you guys want to test that one out by the end of the show, $502 it looks like to get there. But let's get back to some Lions talk. And we are back here on First Bite, Thanksgiving Day game edition. Lions versus Packers here with Dusty Evely. Let's talk about that Packers defense going up against the Lions offense. Packers defense pretty middle of the pack, maybe lower than middle of the pack this year, which I have to imagine is a little bit of a disappointment considering some of the personnel on the team, although injuries have hit that side of the ball as well. Yeah. But let's start with I guess I would say two of the better guys that are healthy, or at least trending towards being as healthy as they've been all season. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, two guys that are very good pass rushers on the team, yet you look at some of the overall pass rushing stats and they're not as exciting. You know, they're pretty meh, I would say, in terms of like 20s in ranking or so. So first of all, how are those two doing, and are they getting any help from anybody?
Rashawn's been great. I mean, I think like a lot of his pass rush win rate stuff, the sacks are not there, but his pressure numbers are top 5 in the league, if I'm not mistaken, and have been for most of the year. And he's a guy who, I mean, he came back he had tore his ACL last year, pushed himself hard, came back earlier than anyone would have thought, and they eased him in. And since day one, when he stepped on the field this year, like just been absolute lunatic on the field. So Gary's been great. Preston is clearly downside of his career. At this point, he's more of a good run defender, setting the edge, if there is such a thing in Green Bay, than he is pass rusher. I think he picked up a sack this past week, or at least split a sack with Gary at the very least. But it was kind of Gary flushed him, and then Preston cleaned up. So he's lost some of the speed. He was never a bendy, twitchy guy. He was kind of a bigger dude anyway. But he's lost some of that. So he still has his moments. He will push the pocket. He has been good. The numbers aren't there. And then besides him, I think Kenny Clark's been good. I think Kenny Clark's double team numbers are pretty high, as they generally are on the inside.
Yeah.
But he had a sack this past week. If he gets a good matchup, like Kenny Clark will eat. I think he's another guy I think he's past the peak, but he's still very good. That if he gets up against a guy, like he'll destroy him all game. But there's other times he'll kind of get taken out a little bit, especially against double teams. A guy like Devontae Wyatt, who's been coming on a little bit. That's their second year guy out of Georgia. He's been coming on a little bit from a pass rusher in the middle of the field. But aside from that, not really much of anything. TJ Slayton's another guy in the interior. That will flash. He's more kind of a run guy. I want to say 350 pounds, and that might be conservative. Third-year guy out of Florida. He will flash occasionally, pass like about once a game. Something in the pass rush game, like, oh, that was nice, and then you'll never see it again for the rest of the game. Lucas Van Ness has been kind of eased in, but he basically looks like Preston Smith. Like I think he will be good. He just hasn't done anything yet. Yeah. They'll occasionally send a guy like Quay. Who was a good situational pass rusher when they used him there last year and has been bad this year. Campbell's been so banged up, they haven't been able to do it much. But yeah, it's Gary, Preston, occasionally Clark up the middle. That's the thing. If Clark and Wyatt can get going up the middle, like that pairing, I think that's why they got Wyatt. Yeah. You can cause some issues. The problem is Clark hasn't been able to get a whole lot of movement, and then Wyatt just hasn't really fully taken off yet. And who knows at this point if he will. So it's been a little pass rush has been little iffy, kind of fits and starts. You'll have some reps where like they look amazing, and then the next one the quarterback got 5-6 to hold it. So you're not really sure, but it's been not been consistent this year.
Yeah, let's ignore the old mantra that the Packers don't care about run defense for just a moment, because it seems like they're improving like ever so slightly. Like I mean, at least they're hovering around like league average. But if they're missing, yeah, if they're missing a guy like Devondre Campbell this week, Dusty, how much does that hurt their ability to be better against the run?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts them. I mean, the big thing is, I mean, the line, if that line can hold, and like I said, I think Wyatt getting better has been better for them in the run game. Campbell is obviously the dude. Quay's been much better this year. Quay Walker's been much better this year. But then the guys behind them, you had a game where Quay and Devondre Campbell both missed, and their backups were, well, the first man off the line is Isaiah McDuffie. I'm blanking on who the other guy is right now. McDuffie's undersized, will get absolutely bullied. McDuffie is basically a special teamer. Like he plays like a gunner. The dude's an absolute lunatic, but he's not a big guy, and he'll just kind of get bullied a little bit. And so that's kind of what you've got from Campbell, who is overpaid from what they got, like that one All-Pro year, and then they threw a bunch of money at him. He has never been as good as that first year in Green Bay, but smart dude, long limb, knows where he's supposed to go, is pretty strong at the point of attack. You go from that to a guy who, I don't know how tall Isaiah McDuffie is. To me, he looks like he's 5'9", 200 pounds. Like he's not a big dude. He's bigger than that, but that's about how he plays. So you absolutely miss something with that. You'll see times you're like, oh, it looks like he's got an opening, and then McDuffie just ends up on his back on the rep. So that will absolutely hurt him. And some of that too, he plays aggressive. He plays over aggressive. And I know against this Lions team, you get out of your gap and they're just going to absolutely destroy you. And the Packers are not good at staying in their gaps. So I'm not very much looking forward to that. Campbell can erase some of that. McDuffie certainly cannot. So yeah, I think that'll be a big issue.
Yeah. The Lions had, I believe, over 200 yards of rushing in this previous matchup. And honestly, Ryan, it feels like they're hitting their stride in terms of their running game right now, with both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery healthy, and just feels like they're utilizing both those guys in so many different ways that it's helpful. But I am kind of interested more in this, like in Kenny Clark. Like Kenny Clark has always been really, really good. And Ryan, we were just talking about it in the break. Like Colby Sorsdal made his kind of left guard debut last week as a starter. He's already started at right guard and played a little bit at right tackle. They're putting kind of the rookie through the mill here. But it looks like, Ryan, he's trending towards playing again. Jonah Jackson hasn't practiced yet, or quote-unquote practiced, even though everything's a walkthrough. So I want to throw this to you, Ryan. Like, how concerned are you about that matchup, or do you think he's going to have enough help on each side of him that shouldn't be too worried about it?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, just because I was thinking about earlier in the podcast, like Graham Glasgow, right? And just him like seamlessly fitting in, and the line just goes off without a hitch. Like the Lions are just on like the next player on the depth chart at that position, and it's not so seamless, especially when it's a rookie from William and Mary. Like right. That's kind of the issue, right? I think there were at times last week that you saw the game just kind of moving too fast for him, whether or not it was getting beat right off the line with either like some hand usage or some other stuff. But like, I mean, there's hope at least. I think that, like you said though, Jeremy, that you can insulate him around, Frank Ragnow on one side and Taylor Decker on the other. Like that's pretty good company to be in.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think I still feel pretty confident just because it's the offensive line plus, like you said, the backs are hitting their strides too.
Yeah. Well, let's move to the secondary then. We haven't really talked much about them yet. Jair Alexander maybe playing this week. It sounds like he's
limited participation. I think so far. Yeah.
So we'll kind of wait and see on that one. I guess first of all, just give me an overall, I guess, view of who may or may not play, and then I guess your thoughts on how they've performed so far this year, because there's a lot of mixing and matching happening. A lot of guys maybe coming off IR, coming. I don't know what to make of it. Maybe, and I'm sure your head's spinning a little bit too with all of it. But what can you tell us about the Packers secondary right now?
It's bad. It's all bad. The end. Well, and that's the thing. Even when Jair was in, so Jair had a back injury. Yeah. And even the games he played, he clearly was not right. The flexibility was not there. He had one game where like between every single snap, he's stretching his back between reps. That's not on the sideline, on the field between, and you could see it. Like he didn't have it. And then he's injured now with a new injury. He had a shoulder injury. So he had the back injury that's lingering, and then the shoulder injury. And so I'm under the assumption he's not going to play, because the injury report is like estimated. They don't actually have injury reports yet, so it's estimated limited participation. He's missed the past 2 weeks, so I'll go based on what they've done so far, which has been 7th round rookie Carrington Valentine out of Kentucky, which is where I am. I watch him a lot at Kentucky. He's got his holes, but he is an aggressive player. He'll beat up some dudes. Like he's been through 2 starts, he's been very, very good. I think there's holes there in his game, but he's been good. And then the other side, it's Carrington Valentine and Corey Ballantyne, who could not be more different. Where Valentine is like this very aggressive, just wants to get in your face, fluid athlete. Valentine at times looks like he's like just like a block of wood. Like he just kind of wants to beat you up, and if he can't, you will beat him because he is very stiff. Now he's been better the past couple of weeks. I do think he has gotten better, but that's their 2 outside corners because they traded Rasul Douglas, their other guy, over to Buffalo, which was a smart move. But he was their number 1 when Jair went out, and he was not without his faults, but he was a legit corner, and they don't have that now. And then the slot they got Keyshawn Nixon, who is still their punt returner, still their kick returner, who will field the ball in the end zone and run it out. He will try to jump to get balls on the back line and then run it out, even though he is also your starting nickel. Don't do that. He got injured in a kick return this past week. Stop taking them out. Don't do that anymore. But that's their starting, and Nixon's been the Nixon experiment. They gave him like $6 million in the offseason. He's just a basic all-pro kick returner last year. They give him $6 million. You're a returner and you're also our nickel. He's not been good. He has not been good out of the nickel at all. He's gotten roasted multiple times. Honestly, of those 3 dudes, right now Nixon's the guy I have the least amount of faith in based on the past couple of weeks. And that's with a couple of rookies on the outside. And then the secondary is I think Savage is cleared. He was on the IR. I don't know if he's going to play this week or not, which means then they had Rudy Ford was their other safety, and he's been injured. He was a rookie last year that had made some good plays. He's been injured, and so their secondary, their safety has been Jonathan Owens, most famously known as Simone Biles' husband, and also for taking the worst routes of pursuit you've ever seen in your life after a man catches the ball in front of you. You've never seen anything like this. And then Anthony Johnson Jr., the rookie out of Iowa State, I believe, he went from the draft, which was this guy's a steal, he's going to be amazing, to training camp where it was this guy cannot play in the NFL, he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, to finally seeing him in the preseason, and like he's got instincts, he's got good clothes, he might be able to play, and he's looked good when he's been out there. He's looked better than I thought he'd be so far. But that's your secondary, your outside guys. It's Valentine and Ballantyne. Nixon is your nickel, which they play almost exclusively nickel, so he's going to be out there all of the time. And then you've got Jonathan Owens and Anthony Johnson Jr. in the secondary. Like Valentine's been better than I thought. And Jeremy, we were joking before we started recording here. That man wants to intercept a pass so bad. You put a halfway decent double move on him, you will be 30 yards past him before he knows what happened. So be on the lookout for that, because you don't have a safety to cover up those mistakes. So the secondary has been better than I think it should have been. But even then, if you look at that Chargers game this past week, the fact that those numbers, like the Packers won, was it 24-22, whatever the devil it was. The Chargers had so many drops in that game. So Keenan Allen dropped 2 balls, 1 a surefire touchdown. Quentin Johnston dropped a beautiful ball up the right sideline that either would have been a touchdown or puts them in game-winning field goal position with a minute left. Right. Like the secondary numbers last week don't look bad. They were bad. So like they're working in those young guys on the secondary. Of all of the spots in the defense, this secondary is far and away the worst spot. Far and away the worst spot. And Valentine, I will say on the run stuff, Valentine is a willing tackler in the run game, but sometimes if you put a wide receiver across him and like block him and like just whisper in his ear while they're blocking him, like, you can't beat me, he will completely lose sight of the run game and just want to beat the block. But dude, you'll see the running back 20 yards down the field and he's still like just muscling that wide receiver, like just trying to beat the block. He could have disengaged in a given time. So there's times he will get totally lost. But if he's out there, like, he'll try to tackle. So at least the corners will try to tackle. That's my damning with faint praise there. They'll try to tackle you.
The threat alone, Dusty, sometimes is enough to ward off a rushing attack, but I don't think that's going to work against David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
No.
They kind of like specialize in missing guys. Jeremy, were you a week early on your JMO prediction? From what?
Maybe. I mean, Jamo did score. He scored. He had 40 some yards and a touchdown.
Big third down catch.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at home, Thanksgiving, basically like almost the year anniversary of him really returning from the ACL.
Yeah, rip JMO on a sluggo against Carrington Valentine, and you've got like a 60-yard touchdown just waiting to happen right there.
I think we're already kind of dipping our foot into it, but let's get into our final segment here, which is the one thing I think I know, which is making a prediction about the game. As a reminder, you, Dusty, it doesn't have to be the winner of the game. It doesn't have to be a score prediction, just any facet of the game that you think is going to happen. If you want to make it a little bit bold, we like to get a little fun with it. But Ryan, show them how it's done. Because I think we're 2 weeks in a row of nailing this, Ryan.
Yeah, we are like 2 weeks in a row of nailing this. I admittedly did like so much more research for the past couple of shows than I have this one as far as the one thing I think I know.
It's a short week, but yeah, let me properly introduce it, Ryan. What is the one thing you think you know about Lions Packers?
All right, so here's the one thing that I think I know about Lions Packers. I think that you're going to have a 3-score game. In the Lions' favor, to be clear. That's no indictment, I think, of the Packers roster. I think that I've just heard Dusty say the word injured in regards to players that matter to this football team being more competitive than I heard any other word on the podcast. And we talked about Jordan Love for quite some time. So like honestly, you're down Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. Like I think the rushing attack, if the Lions can stop that again, they've shown what they've been able to do when they make quarterbacks who are young and inexperienced one-dimensional, right? And I think that's when the wheels can kind of come off. And it's Thanksgiving. Dan Campbell's never won a Thanksgiving Day game.
Listen, I was telling Dusty too. I was scared last week of the Bears, and it turned out to be pretty legit to be scared. Maybe not in the way that I thought, but they were a tough matchup. I don't think the Packers, even if they were half as healthy, or double as healthy, even if they were more healthy,
if they had more health,
I think this is a good matchup for the Lions. The Packers aren't particularly good at running the ball. They aren't particularly good at stopping the run. Both those things very much work in the Lions' favor, and in making them one-dimensional on offense and being able to be two-dimensional when the Lions are on offense. So I'm with you there. I mean, 3 scores is tough because I do think if the Packers are going to air the ball out, and history tells me they are going to try to air it out, Lions are a little bit vulnerable on the back end. They haven't been particularly well at defending the deep ball. So
yeah. And I think that's one thing we didn't even ask Dusty throughout the entire podcast, though, is like the Packers aren't out of the playoffs. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're rolling in here and they don't have anything to play for. And I know
for the podcast listeners, he just rolled his eyes hard.
I saw it was this past week. It was like 4-6, and they were like in the hunt. They're like the first team out. Like, what is this? What is this?
This is the NFC, the state of the NFC.
Welcome to being a Lions fan in your most hopeful of years. Getting that graphic of 4-6 and in the hunt was like, We got a shot.
We got a shot. Listen, it happened to us last year. We were 4-6 at some point, and we didn't make it, but we got close.
I was gonna say, finish the story, Jerry. Finish the story.
Well, the moral of the story was just don't lose to Seattle.
True. All right, Dusty, let's get to your prediction. What is the one thing you think you know about Lions Packers?
Man, I was feeling really good about this. Honestly, until the Musgrave injury, I was like, man, Packers been looking froggy. Packers been looking good. They're getting a little better. And then this is Musgrave. Like, no, they're going to get the brakes beat off of them by the Lions. But the one thing I think I know, I'm going to give Quay Walker an interception. He's been on the injury report. I don't think he's on this week. He's been in position for like 3 this year that have hit that man in the hands. I think, again, we kind of talked about it, not on the podcast portion, but Quay's been a dude who, for the stuff he did last year, getting kicked out of the Lions game, most famously for shoving a member of the medical staff, which I will also say, I don't think Quay knew who it was. I think the Devontae Wyatt gets way glossed over in terms of Devontae Wyatt, like bumping that dude when he clearly knew who it was. That's way worse than what Quay did. Quay spent a lot of time on himself this past year, a lot of meditation, a lot of trying to overcome some anger issues. And it seems like it's showing up. Everyone's had nothing but good things to say about him. I do think the Packers get absolutely housed in this game, but I think Quay gets a little bit of redemption. I think Goff's going to put one in his breadbasket for all of the faults that this Packers defense have had. They will occasionally put their linebackers in position to make a play. They'll drop a guy out, put him in position that Goff loves ripping those little intermediate balls. I think Quay's going to step in the middle of one. I think he gets hands on one and brings it in. So it's going to be, I don't know if that's relatively tame, but I think I'm going to give that to Quay, I think.
Not based on last week, Dusty.
Yeah, I mean, he did throw to a linebacker last week, and could have thrown a couple more. I think Lions fan would be concerned if that happens, even if they win by 3 touchdowns. Be like, all right, Jared Goff, why are you do you have this eye condition where you just can't see linebackers?
Jared Goff, why can't you be perfect like you were at the end of last season?
That's right.
There's a line in BoJack Horseman that's just, you're BoJack Horseman and there's no cure for that. Just you're Jared Goff and there's no cure for that.
All right.
This is who you are.
All right. I don't have a, you know what? Screw it. The one thing I think I know, JMO 100 yards. I'm going to predict it again. Second week in a row. The last time was on Pride Detroit Direct. I think, what did I predict here? I don't even remember, but I'm pretty sure I turned out to be right.
Yeah, I think you're right too.
100 yards, JMO. Probably.
Oh, wasn't it something about the Bears' run defense being fraudulent?
Probably. That sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah. That turned out to be right too. But yeah, listen. JMO, his trajectory has been going up. 50% of the snaps against the Chargers, 60% against the Bears. They're putting him in important downs. And Dusty just said it. This secondary is beat up and susceptible to double moves. We saw them pull a double move with Amon-Ra on the Thursday night game against the Packers. It worked.
Beautiful play.
It was amazing. Do something similar with JMO. They're starting to develop. The thing that really makes me excited was his touchdown pass, because they stacked him with Amon-Ra, and then you're going to put so much stress on defensive backs when they have to decide which guy they're going to carry with. And so big plays for JMO. Two explosive plays. 2 plays of 30-plus yards. You know what? Let's take the 100 yards off the table. Let's just say 2 explosive plays of 30-plus yards from JMO.
And 100 yards. Got it.
Which probably will amount to 100 yards. All right. Before we get out of here, Dusty, let me take a moment for you so you can promote all your stuff, where people can read, listen, view you, because I know you got some awesome stuff over on YouTube as well. So where can the people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Dusty Evely, where I will shout about things. I write weekly over at Cheesehead TV, usually on Wednesdays. That came out Tuesday this week. Weekly at Packer Report on Tuesdays. I'm on the Pack a Day podcast on Wednesdays. I got YouTube that I'll just do whenever, but I've had, this year has been awesome. I got paired with John Kuhn, former Packers fullback. And so every Tuesday we will go through roughly 3 plays from the Packers games the previous week and go through some of the film stuff. We did 4 today. So that's been really awesome. So that's actually up over at Cheesehead TV's YouTube channel. That's usually up on Tuesdays. That's been amazing. I've learned a ton from that. So that's been probably my favorite thing I've been doing so far this year.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. And Dusty's just an overall great guy. He's a Tigers fan too. So make sure you do follow him. If you're a Tigers fan, he's going to have Tigers takes. He's actually optimistic about the Tigers. I don't know why.
Riley Green bandwagon. Like, until he gets injured again, I'm Riley Green bandwagon right now.
There you go. All right, Dusty, very much appreciate your time. Have a happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Appreciate all the help. Unfortunately, this is the last time we're going to talk this year because the Packers aren't going to make the playoffs. But, maybe they have an exciting offseason.
I like your optimism. Thank you, Jeremy.
Of course. Ryan, happy Thanksgiving to you, too, as well, buddy. I don't know when I'm going to see you next, but this weekend probably.
Soon. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jeremy.
Appreciate
and to everybody listen out there in listening land.
Be safe on Wednesday night. Be safe on Thursday. And we will see you guys after the game. But until then, it's chaos. Be kind.
Recording stopped.
Okay. We're still live, Dusty, as you probably remember. We do have some business to take care of because we also got another $100 that also said Dusty Egg. You don't have to do 2. I will leave it up to you if you want to do 1.
I'll take the other one if you don't want to take both of them, Dusty.
I feel like I have to do 1. If there's 2 of them, I feel like I have to do 1, right?
I've
never egged my face before.
It's a different sensation.
You don't have anything to do after this, right?
I've got another podcast I'm doing in 45 minutes.
Okay. That might be good enough for a pass because you will have to shower.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to shower.
Well, and my wife's already asleep, and so I can't go in there and take a shower. So that's what I'm telling you. I can't go in. She's
okay.
Very
you know what?
sleeper.
You don't have to.
It'll wake up my wife.
We're not doing this then. That's
No.
that is. I'm sorry to the people that donated, but we're not going to make them do that.
What if we? I mean, we're gonna talk to Dusty again at some point. So maybe during preview podcast, come around summertime.
What if we do? I don't know how this would work into this. What if I just do it separately and send you guys a video? What if I do it the next week?
Awesome.
I'll send you guys a video. My wife will say, "Why are you going to the backyard with an egg?" And I say, "It's none of your business."
I would say either that or you can come around during our marathon stream on December 5th, Tuesday, and do it then.
Okay, yeah. Is that all day?
That'll be all day. So you just DM me whenever during the day and be like, hey, I'm ready to do it. Either one is fine with me. If you want to do the video thing
and I'm
too,
ready to roll.
That's right. I'm locked and loaded.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I'll do it then, or I'll do a video and I'll send it to you. We'll figure out what
Perfect.
what
Either
works
way,
exactly
either way
for
is
that.
perfect
Okay.
and awesome. Thank you, Dusty.
Only one. You don't have to do 2.
Yeah, no, Ryan's taking the other one. No,
Yeah, that's right.
Unless, have you guys ever done 2 at a time?
No.
No, that's dangerous territory.
Well, I feel like if you're doing 1, what's the difference in doing 1?
What's the difference? No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
No, you know what, Ryan? I'll take this bullet for you. I'm gonna do 2 at a time. We're gonna see how this rolls, baby.
All right. There
See,
you go.
This is why we have Dusty on every time we talk
It's
to
the
a Packers
it's the
fan.
only reason. We gotta do something dumb. Who will say yes to this? Hey, Dusty, how do you feel about painting your face a cat? Also, fine. Let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, buddy, I'll let you go here and prepare for your podcast. Appreciate you being a good sport. And always, man, it's great having you here.
No, always good talking to you guys. I'll get a couple eggs and some malice in my heart, and then we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know for sure where we end up going with this.
Just scream Joe Barry before you do it.
Does it hurt?
No.
No, not at all.
They got the shells. It doesn't hurt when you smash the
no.
shells.
All falls. It just it's just incredibly
Messy.
the moment you do it, you're like, I have to be in the shower. I can't be like this for any longer because you can feel it just
That's what I was kind of thinking. I was like,
to your skin.
I could smash it and then I can wash my face, but I already know that would just the way that hardens
down your
just
body.
Yeah.
So
Awesome,
2, buddy.
I'm looking forward to it. Listen, 1 or 2, who cares? I'm still in the same shape afterwards.
That's right.
Feels like I'm in the same boat either way.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. This was awesome. Thanks again for having me on.
Of course, buddy.
I'll send you an uncomfortable video or let you know at some point next week.
All right.
If I'll be around on Tuesday. We'll see.
Oh,
sounds good, man.
All right.
Thanks,
see you
Dusty.
guys.
Happy
You bet.
Thanksgiving, man.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
What a good sport. I got to stop bringing it up to people because I feel like I'm putting too much pressure on them. Because then you just feel like a jerk if you say no.
Do you know what we're doing to people right now?
What's that?
When you go through the drive-thru and they're always like, "Do you want a roundups?" To
Oh
a
yeah,
full $1
yeah.
for,
That's exactly what we're doing.
St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and it's like, Yeah, because like I have to come face to face with you in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, but I still say no most of the time.
I do too for the most part. And you know what you know what I usually say in my head? I'm like, I'm a school teacher. Like I give back more than any of these people who go through this drive-through line. Like
That's right.
I do my business.
That's right. By the way, we got 200 bits from Nick the Greek during that segment, and by the way, Brad Holmes Bulge, thank you for the $100 donation as well, in addition to Woodchuck Hunter. But Nick the Greek says somebody is going to get salmonella from all this egg cracking, and next year's charity will be food safety related. Yeah, maybe. And then another 100 bits says Ryan looks like the dad who left for milk and cigarettes in 1977 and never came back.
It's not okay. I don't like that. The only thing I like that's related to dads right now is the videos that I shared with you and Chris, the Instagram reels of the Three Doors Down song.
Yeah, I heard you. Well, it wasn't even that song. It was hold me when I'm here, there when I'm gone.
Knowing that we're scared, that you always will be there.
Yeah, that one.
Love me when I'm gone.
What grade do you teach, Ryan?
Too many.
Okay.
Too many grades.
I saw that.
Right now it's like 11th graders.
I saw that both Reno and Eric were in the chat earlier. I don't know if they're both still here, but what's up, fellas? It's a short week. You guys should be working and not watching us.
Yeah, your ass is back to work, dude.
Kidding.
Yeah,
Although Ryan and I have done all the work so far this week. Just saying.
That's fine. I just walked into school this morning and had a near mental breakdown and almost quit. And then I was like, no, I just got to keep going.
Oh, you're right, Alex. I forgot about the question of the day that you did.
I love just the question marks.
Uncle T-Rav with the 2-bit says Bears choked harder than Ryan eating the jarlic. Accurate or not accurate? It's a pretty bad joke.
Do you know what I think I've loved the most is the discourse after the game about why Justin Fields shouldn't have been dancing. Have you paid attention to any of that discourse?
Little bit.
Because it's super fun.
It's unbelievably stupid that people are criticizing him for doing that.
It's hilarious. Does that happen to Mac Jones?
What?
If Mac Jones does that, are we criticizing him? I guess it's not even a fair question because Mac Jones isn't a good quarterback.
Right, yeah, you need to come up if you're trying to make this what I think you're making it, come up with a better white quarterback than Mac Jones.
Everybody's getting injured. I can't think of any quarterbacks.
You can't think of a healthy quarterback.
Josh Allen.
There you go.
You got Buffalo firing Ken Dorsey for Josh Allen turning the football over.
I can't even picture Matthew Stafford doing that. I'm convinced Matthew Stafford has never danced in his life.
God, I can't. Yeah, he's never did he always spiked the football.
Yeah.
If he was running in a touchdout.
But even I'm trying to I definitely watched most of the
Rams
Rams parade. Yeah. What was Matthew Stafford doing during the Rams parade other than drinking heavily?
Other than being hammered?
Just being hammered and not helping photographers who broke their leg.
What's happening right now?
Is it not too soon? Is it still too soon for that?
I'm in a fever dream where Jeremy Reisman is openly criticizing Matthew Stafford about anything.
I think
he
it's
says
been
he doesn't
long
have.
enough where that's funny.
He said he doesn't have any rhythm.
That's okay.
He says he can't dance.
Never said that.
says he could never do a karaoke rendition of When I'm Gone by Three Doors Down.
I mean, certainly not as good as I can.
What do you think Matthew Stafford's karaoke song would be?
No, something like Sweet Home Alabama. Something that's just easy, dumb, and like Sweet Caroline. Anything with sweet in it, basically. If you do Sweet Caroline for your karaoke song, I do not respect you as a person. And it's not that I don't like the song. It's that that's like the least amount of effort. That's like turning in a test paper where you signed your name and you're just like, yeah, here you go. I circled B for everything.
Just such a strong, fiery take. I love it. I want Matthew Stafford's karaoke song to be a song that has sweet in it. I want it to be Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith.
Ooh. Here's the thing. One of the greatest guitar riffs mixed with some of the worst lyrics in singing.
Oh, yeah. It's true. It's very true.
Like, I love that song
I feel like that's a lot of Aerosmith.
Until what's his name starts singing.
Steven Tyler,
But then on the other chord, like, Dream On is Steven Tyler at his best. Dream On is a great song only because of the singing.
Dude, Dream On and that ESPN 100.
It's
ESPN
the first time I ever heard that song.
It's like, I get goosebumps every time I watch it.
Yeah, it's great. Steve Eiserman's overtime goals in there.
Yeah.
What if I sing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables? What if? I wouldn't judge you for that. I don't know it. That tells me you're really into singing, though.
I think Uncle T-Rav says Californication is his song. I would rather it be Danny California.
With a name like Danny California. Here's a song I was gonna warn you. What's Goff's karaoke song? I don't think he would ever do karaoke. Although, to be fair, I don't think Matthew Stafford would either. If you got Matthew Stafford hammered enough, he would do it.
Yeah.
Jared Goff would probably do like... Have you seen that video of that guy who does tequila?
Yeah.
Where he just sits there for 2 minutes and then just says tequila and that's it?
Yeah.
I think he said he dug Eminem. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if, in general,
I feel like
I don't think
Jared
rap
Goff
is a good look for karaoke.
Yeah, I don't think
people can't find the beat. Can't find the flow.
Yeah. It's really tough. I don't speak from experience, but no, Jared Goff, I don't think so. Anything from Pet Sounds for Jared Goff. I feel like he's a Beach Boys guy.
Beach Boys guy?
Yeah.
I wonder how he would react if I asked him that question. I don't think I have a good enough relationship with him to ask him that question.
Yeah. That's a I don't even know how you lead into that question. See, this is why the Lions need to get to the Super Bowl, because then you can ask Jared Goff questions like that.
Yeah, just I go to media day and ask. That becomes the question I ask. Maybe this becomes a Pride of Detroit Direct thing, where I just for one edition, I just ask 5 different players, "What's your karaoke song?" and that becomes a little like blurb in one of the newsletters.
But I think that'd be worthwhile. That's good, hard, real journalism.
That's right. By the way, if you want to be a subscriber for Pride of Detroit Direct, we are currently offering it for $20 off, 20% off, I should say. It's only $50 a year, so 20% off means it's $40. Or if you want to purchase it and do so by giving to a good cause, we are still every $100. If you donate $100, I should say, you get Pride of Detroit Direct for free. So the $200 donations that we got today, Woodchuck Hunter and Brad Holmes' Bulge, you will be getting a link to subscribe to Pride Detroit Direct. Although I think maybe both of you have already donated $100. So either way,
Look at Monty with a legit good way to ask that question.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
The classic, we're doing something for charity. Hope you're listening to my question and you come up with a good answer.
Durgo Johnny is throwing some Dream On lyrics in the YouTube chat. I've never had the guts to do Dream On, but I would totally do Dream On. Every time that I look in the mirror, all these lines in these faces getting clearer.
I would 100% do Night Moves by Bob Seger.
Of course you would. What do we have to get to do the karaoke stream? Is that 25K? I did Zombie on Twitch Sings. Zombie's not hard. Zombie is just extremely repetitive. What's in your head? That's not hard. Come on.
Yeah, Laser Mouse. Jeremy is he's a karaoke snob, but he's not a karaoke snob.
That I don't know why, but I think that makes sense and is true.
Yeah.
I respect the art of karaoke.
You would never pass judgment on anybody doing karaoke ever, which is like the number one cardinal rule of karaoke.
Right.
Right.
Here's the thing. I only require one thing out of a karaoke performance.
Effort.
Effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. You don't need to be on tune. You don't need to be on the beat. Give me effort. That's all I need to see. I don't care what song you're singing, even though I just said I judge people who do Sweet Caroline, which remains true. But if you put extra effort into it and you aren't just going, bah, 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 like, yeah, give me some effort.
Yeah. So McSpearmint says, when Goff asks you what song you'll be singing, I would laugh so hard if you told him WAP. Yeah.
What's the most wet blanket karaoke song? How dare you?
I feel like something by Boston.
Okay, I like this comment, and I also don't like this comment because Lion's Blood says Jeremy is such a karaoke guy that he does both duet parts.
He just layers his vocals.
Keith O'Brien donated $4.99 in the super chat on YouTube. Says it would be amazing if you had a subscription based in YouTube. I think we do. I think they're called memberships, if that's what you're talking about. Like YouTube offers memberships. I don't think we have a single membership on YouTube, but I do think it's an option. And you can get some of the emotes that we have on Twitch. But because we don't have a lot of memberships, we don't have enough slots to match what we have on Twitch. I think. I thought I turned it on. Here's the thing. I don't even know if I would get a notification if we got a membership because I've never seen it happen. I want to do a duet on Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. What is that song? Do you know that song?
Mm-mm.
Paradise by Dashboard Lights.
Dashboard Lights?
Not Dashboard Confessionals? Dashboard. Oh, that's a Meatloaf song. Paradise of the Dashboard Light. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, chat. It's not an option? Huh. That's weird, Keith. Let me listen to it real quick. No chat link this time for auction? is a little bit too much of a blind spot for me.
Blind spot. Big blind spot.
And no
for me.
reason, because all the Meatloaf songs I know I love.
Do you know my entry point for Meatloaf is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You want to talk about blind spots?
Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I've never seen it.
Oh, Jeremy.
And in LA, they have a thing where they have midnight showings every week, and it's like a whole event, and I never went, and there's absolutely no reason for it.
Come on, Dees.
You regret it, don't you?
I do.
Dees nuts.
100%. Monk, $60 donation to the Alzheimer's Association. Thank you, Monk. Appreciate it, man. How close are we? Chad, are we going to try to get over to 16K this stream? We're coming up near the end of the month, y'all. We still got a ways to go to even meet last year's total. I know a lot of you are probably saving, and I understand that, and I respect it. Where's my Tiltify tab? I need to see if you redeemed anything. Can you two duet? Nothing is going... Oh, don't stop us now? Is that what you mean, Laura Schlitt?
No.
Or what is
now.
nothing is going to stop us now a different song? Is that a different song?
I don't know.
Oh, wait. Nah. Is that the and we can build our way together. Nothing's gonna stop us now. That song? That's I don't think that's what it's called. Is it? Is that what it's called? I feel like that's called something else. Maybe it's not. By Starship? Oh, I mean, listen. You can get me to sing just about anything. Like, I love karaoke. I think most people already know that about me, but I'm a big karaoke guy.
Big.
Because I like going in falsetto like that. I got no problem with it. My karaoke song, do you know it, Ryan?
I don't think so.
My karaoke song is Ballroom Blitz by Sweet. As made famous by Wayne's World.
Yeah.
It's unique enough. It shows a little bit of range. You can put a lot of effort into it.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Thank you. I thought it was made famous by Rock Band. Is it on Rock Band?
I think so.
I miss Rock Band.
I think, like, I don't know, there's just something good about the world when, like, Guitar Hero 3 hit. Like, by the time Guitar Hero 3 hit, like, it was like, yeah, no, we're doing this. Like, this wasn't just like a one-off gimmick. Like, people love playing plastic guitars in their living room.
Chat, can we just have a Pride of Detroit meetup where we don't even talk about Lions football? We just play Rock Band all night?
Man, I loved Rock Band.
How much fun would that be?
Did I ever tell you? So, like, probably like one of my favorite Christmas gifts I ever got was I got the I got the full set for Beatles Rock Band.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, dude, for hours on end. I'm in college at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I would just like I would play and sing at the same time.
Dees nuts.
I'd play guitar and sing for
yeah.
hours.
No,
like,
me and my buddy Harry used to. We didn't have a ton of friends when we first moved to LA, and so like sometimes we had nights where us two would play Rock Band together and cover 3, sometimes all 4 of the instruments.
That, I mean, just a good time.
Yeah. Like I want to sing Weezer "Say It Ain't So bad right now because of that game.
Dude. One of my favorite songs ever.
It's a great song. Although not my favorite by them. I like Island in the Sun slightly more.
I'll allow it.
I will do Say It Ain't So as Carl Weezer. What does that mean? Who's Carl Weezer?
It's from Jimmy Neutron.
Oh.
It's his friend.
Do you think I that talks like this?
Yeah.
Okay. David Lunch, thank you for the $30 donation to the Alzheimer's Association. Appreciate you. That puts us, it's so small on my screen, $312 away from a spin on the Wheel of Pain. Although I will say, I don't think we're going to be on too much longer. So if you guys want to make a push for 16K, maybe make it in the next 10 minutes. Ooh, Toxic would be a good one. Although she goes, there's that one part where she goes, it's too high. It's
yeah. If Alex is still in the chat, my favorite part of Toxic by Britney Spears is the Childish Gambino. There's a Childish Gambino song where he uses the Toxic beat.
What in the world? There's apparently a YouTube video that I'm assuming is Weezer sung in the voice of Jimmy Neutron, Weezer guy.
Hey,
are we about to watch it?
I know. Halloween was a few weeks ago.
I guess so.
Right now,
I think
it's better than watching. It's better than watching the trailer for Bye Bye Barry. Something I definitely don't want to do.
Let me share the sound with you so you can experience whatever the heck this is about to be.
Wow, even the attention to detail with the cover.
That's all right. All right, let's skip to the lyrics. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, that's us.
All right.
Why?
Somebody's hiding is crowding my icebox. Somebody's cold wine is giving me chills. I guess I'll just close my eyes.
All right, I want to get to the bridge. That's my favorite part of the song. This way is the water side of window. Oh boy, there it is.
When I say this way is the water slide away from me.
All right. If you guys want to watch the rest of it, I'll throw it in the Twitch chat.
Tell me why Carl Weezer sounds exactly like the old guy from 8 Crazy Nights. It's a technical foul.
I have never seen that movie in its entirety, and I don't think I ever will. That's very accurate, though. Alex Reno, thank you for the 24-month subscribe to the channel. I believe that's 2 years. It's weird because I feel like we've known each other a lot longer than that, but you know,
a lot longer than that.
24 months is pretty good. I'm sure, and you know what? I'm sure you're using your Twitch Prime very, very wisely somewhere else, to some Valorant streamer or something. Do you still watch that game? Do you still play that game, Alex? I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Alex, come home.
Come home. That's all we're saying. Come home.
Make like every favorite, or make like the favorite storyline for any local news outlet of any athlete coming back to play for their hometown team. Hashtag just come home.
Just come home.
Just come home. Take the Graham Glasgow route. Just come home.
That's right. Graham did it. You're best friends with Graham. He misses you. I talked to him in the locker room today, and he said, all I want to know is where Alex is. And I said, I'm sorry. He abandoned us. He wept in front of me. Okay, none of that is true, by the way. I'm a reporter. I probably shouldn't make up things. I'm not Carissa Thompson here. Sorry. Is it Graham or Graham? Who's Graham? John, is that a Canadian thing? Do people pronounce Graham? Graham?
John, you definitely don't put a U in it. You don't put a U in his name at all, anywhere.
It is Glasgow.
It is Glasgow.
Which a lot of people make a mistake on.
I instinctually want to say Glasgow every time.
Yeah.
No way, dude. Alex, are you getting a Boston accent?
Oh man. If you came back to Michigan and so you were just like,
Just
hey, the Lions are wicked awesome. I'd lose it.
if I were to pick you up from the airport, you'd be like, let's get some Dunkin'. I'll be like, oh shit.
Jeremy's just blasting everyone today? Yeah, I mean, I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be in an even better mood tomorrow once I'm done with On Paper, because that's anytime I finish On Paper, it's like, oh, I can coast until the actual game now.
Yeah.
Pack the car in the garage.
Dudes, okay, so speaking of Boston, like I saw he was like the assistant principal at our school for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He was a teacher when I was there, but he like works in a different building and he has like a different role now. But he was at the high school today for some reason, and I saw him and he was like, man, he's like, I didn't know if I'd see you here. I thought like with all the Pride of Detroit stuff, like you'd be out of here. And I was like, I'm just kind of sticking to my day job while I try to do more of that. And he was like, yeah, it was really like a Goodwill Hunting situation. It was like, it's not bad that you're here. It's just like, I want to see you like go do better things.
One day.
I was like, I don't know. I feel like teaching's like a pretty noble profession. Like, not that I don't love doing this, but it was just,
yeah,
it was the way you framed it as a Goodwill Hunting kind of thing. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's. I think people think we make more money at Pride of Detroit than we do.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah,
they do. But
we're on the up and up, though. I will say that.
We kind of do make more money because of how much we crowdsource for you guys to donate to the Alzheimer's Association.
True. Will Jeremy and Ryan meet in real life over the holiday season? At some point. At some point it'll happen. I gotta give him the shirt. We almost met for a Red Wings game like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And then I honestly probably could have done something this weekend because we didn't have anything planned, but ended up being the starter and not the alternator. Not that it made any difference, but I got to go pick that up tomorrow. But I think the stream should know that Jeremy donated his car to me.
They don't have to know that.
Yeah, they should know that. It's just a super nice thing that you did.
I donated you a lemon with 180,000 miles on it already. I guess that doesn't matter.
172.
Whatever.
But look at I gotta get him these bad boys. Autographed by me.
QB1.
QB1, baby.
Yeah, the Civic, Alex. It sounds more noble than it is. I was only going to get $500 from it from the dealership.
And
now you've already put more than that into the car.
He officially I do owe Jeremy $10. I think that maybe like legally he could take me to court. Like small claims court, but
yeah, you owe me a dinner. A very cheap dinner.
Like at a minimum, like that's why I was trying to like make the Red Wings game or something like that happen. Because I was talking to him. I was like, I gotta buy like Jeremy like a ticket or like at least a beer.
Let's go
like,
get ramen. Let's go get ramen.
Okay, that's all right.
Now we're talking.
An excuse to go eat ramen. Okay.
Jason,
John, no, we didn't get Ferraris from SB Nation.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's wait. Maybe they got them waiting around the corner for the holidays.
Okay, easy, Clark Griswold.
I get that reference. Thank you, Jason S, for subscribing over there on YouTube. I have to go figure out why memberships aren't available. That's unfortunate. But thank you again, Keith, for the $4.99. All right. Seems like chat's dying down here. Seems like maybe the donations are not going to come tonight, which is fine. A couple people have asked when the Madden Sim is going to be tomorrow. I have not decided yet, but probably around the 7:00-ish hour. Yeah, that seems safe. 7-ish. We got the modded Madden now, and they're kind of okay. It's made
What did the mod do?
a whole bunch of like AI stuff, and it's hard to tell exactly when it's working and when it isn't. But the one thing it's not doing anymore is Jared Goff standing like a statue and then taking a sack. In fact, one time he stepped up and threw a touchdown to JMO, and it was awesome.
So it's you just like excuse me, were they like sliders?
Mm-hmm. Sliders are part of it. Yeah. Oh, we're keeping the mod. The mods are here to stay. And they won. They won the Madden Sim. Second time all year, they won the Madden Sim. And then all throughout the game, the actual game, everyone's like, this is because the Madden Sim, Jeremy, you ruined it. This is why we're losing to the Bears. And then we beat the Bears.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Put it up there. Hang the banner. So it's right next to the blue ski masks. The Jeremy's Madden mod
Right.
almost earned blue ski mask
That's right.
treatment.
The throw to JMO was off one foot. He like stepped up and like was jumping almost.
I've seen Pat Mahomes do it, so I mean I know people can do it. You're saying that Jared Goff can't do that? Can't make that throw?
It's true. They do still do this every play. I don't know if you've watched a Madden Sim, like they'll show a close up of the quarterback, and every time they do in the huddle, he's just doing he's going like he makes this motion.
Just run in opposite directions.
Yeah, it literally happens about 25 times a stream where they show him do that exact motion. Chet has figured out how to signify that in emails.
No, with the finger.
Yeah, it's not the nervous. Like, isn't that what this is supposed to mean? It's like, I'm nervous.
Oh yeah.
Don't clip that, Chet.
Yeah, please stop.
I think it's time to get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? We have the perfect people to raid because the Blevins brothers hold a sports podcast. They're competition now, but they do a sports podcast with Kirk Benkert, and you might have to be a hardcore NFL fan to know who that is, or maybe you're following his career after his playing career as a backup to one Aaron Rodgers, former NFL quarterback, and he provides really cool insight to that show where the Blevins brothers are just kind of silly and off the wall, but they're all those guys are Lions fans. Kurt has a ton of respect for the Lions in particular this year, and because it's Lions Packers this week, I'm sure that podcast is going to be very, very fun. Before we go, Dr. Decide, thank you for the 100 bits, says Goat Lions going 9-2 on Turkey Day, and then Dr. Decide also subscribed for the second straight month, so appreciate that. But anyways, if you are on Twitch, I very highly recommend sticking around and watching their sports podcast because it is very entertaining. Technically, all of the guys are live. Ninja's live. Our good friend Bearded Blevins is live. Kurt Benkert is live. The third Blevins brother is also live. I think Invictus is his Twitch name. But they're all a lot of fun. I promise you're going to have some fun. They're going to be really excited to see you guys. So we'll just raid our good friend John because he's our biggest bud. Madi, you weren't supposed to do that. Yes, and then I will try to, hopefully before tomorrow, the Madden Sim uninstall Streamlabs and reinstall it. And hopefully, we only crashed once, it looked like, so it wasn't too bad. But anyways, we'll next time, Swag, we'll actually after the Madden Sim, we'll raid maybe someone who's unsuspecting. But until then, Ryan, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We got a Pride of Detroit Direct in the bag, by the way, for tomorrow morning. Ryan and I tag teamed on it. Got a video in there talking some Graham Glasgow appreciation.
Yes, sir. Talking some Packers deep passing offense, right?
Also that. I've got a really cool stat in there about the last matchup and how the only reason they got in that game was a deep ball. And some shocking stats about the drives that they did not complete a deep ball in. So you have that to look forward to in your mailbag tomorrow. But until then, go enjoy the Blevins Brothers podcast. We will see you guys tomorrow night for the Madden Sim. See you guys later.
Oh man, so tired.
So tired.